Hello, Professor. This is Brandon Jackson, and today I will be doing Lab Report 3 on structures of the sheep brain. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you my iPad, which has the list of stuff on it. I just wanted to show you this because the last time I did a lab, it may have looked like I was using some extra source or whatever, but I was using my iPad. That's what I usually use. I don't really print the stuff out. I mean, I could, but I didn't. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so here we have the sheep brain. It's already cut by the longitudinal cerebral fissure, which is this right here, the separation, right? All right, and then we have the cerebrum, which is the whole front portion. Right, this is the cerebrum, right? So previous to this, I did cut off the, let's see if I can get it, the dura mater, and under the dura mater is going to be the arachnoid matter, and then the layer that's directly above, the actual like brainy portion is going to be the pia mater, right? All right, so I'm going to get into this a little bit more. So we have I'm just going to describe what I'm looking at, all right? So the divots, well, these little darker parts, the divots that go in a little bit, they are the sulcus, right? And then the more outward portions are called the gyrus, right? All right, and once again, I already did the lateral fissure. All right, so we're gonna move on to the brainstem, all right? So this whole back portion is the brainstem, right? All right, the midbrain is like this whole portion. The midbrain includes the cerebral pundicle. Let me see if I can get this correct. The cerebral pundicle, which is gonna be like right in here, cerebral pundicle. Above the cerebral pundicle is the inferior colliculus, followed by, above that is the superior colliculus, right? And then we have, let's see if I can point this out correctly. We have the pons, which are right here. And the medulla oblongata is also right below the pons, right? Okay, let's see. And then we're going to move on to the cerebellum. So while I'm talking about the cerebellum, I'm going to show you the more grayer parts. The cerebellum are going to be the gray matter, and then the white parts, including this tree-like area, is called the arbor vitae. So the arbor vitae looks like a tree, and it is made of white matter. Okay, that site might not be any better. Okay, so like I said, moving on to the cerebellum, right? So the cerebellum, right? The cerebellum has a separation, which is in this area. It is called the vermis, right? All right, and then the cerebellum is separated by the left and right portions by the vermis, and it is that's called the lateral hemisphere, right? So there's two of them. There's the left side and the right side, obviously. Once again, I already named the meninges, which is going to be the dura mater and the arachnoid mater and the pia mater. I'm going to move on to the pituitary gland. So the pituitary gland is right here. This is the pituitary gland. And then I'm going to move on to the cranial nerves, right? So these are going to be kind of hard to point out. Some of them are, not really located on here. But I'm going to go ahead and, tell you where they would be. So the olfactory nerve runs along here, right? And the top of it is called the olfactory bulb. Olfactory nerve runs in this way, and on top of it is called the olfactory bulb. That one more time. All right, now we're going to move on to the the optic nerve, right? So the optic nerve, at the base of the optic nerve is the optic chiasm, and then above, like the whole little strand, is called the optic tract. I'm not really sure where the oculomotor is, but it's usually like one of these tiny strands that are also in here. And the trigeminal is also a pretty big piece. Yeah, not sure where the trigeminal is. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to the inner portions of the brain. So the mid-sagittal section, right? So I'm gonna start with the corpus callosum, right? So the corpus callosum is about right here, right? It's this section, all right? And then below the corpus callosum, you have the septum pelliculum. Actually, I'm wrong. Below the corpus callosum, you have the thalamus, right? And then the hypothalamus is up under that. Okay. The lateral ventricle is going to be the whole section, including the corpus callosum, the thalamus, and the hypothalamus. It encases that. All right, in here you also have the choroid plexus, and it kind of goes down into the brain stem by the, through the cerebral duct, and the fourth ventricle leads to the fourth ventricle. All right, I already said the white matter, the gray matter. All right, and what am I missing? Yeah, the septum pelliculum is in this area, and I think that I already said the choroid plexus of the third ventricle starts up here and then goes down in there. All right. This is also the third ventricle, right? Cerebral aqueduct leading into the fourth ventricle. Okay. Yep. All right, and that about wraps it up.